Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Yevamot, page 50. As we are introduced to a challenging new chapter, I'd like to share with you the very first line. According to the opinion of Rabbi Gamliel, he says literally, there is no divorce document after another divorce document, or ein get acher get. Now, what exactly is this referring to? Now, we know typically when a person is married, one of the ways of releasing a wife is by giving a divorce document, a get. The other is, of course, the man's death. Now, when it comes to our situation, we've been learning about a Yevamot, a woman who was married and her husband died. So imagine that there are actually three brothers, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. Now, Levi, he died, and he left a wife, or let's say he left two wives. And they both now have this law of possibly marrying one of these two remaining living brothers, Reuven or Shimon. Now, Reuven or Shimon, they could either do yibum, marry them, or do chalitza, release them. And by doing that with one of them, that will free the other one up as well. But instead, Reuven did something different. He decided to give this divorce document. He didn't do yibum, and he did not do chalitza. Instead, he gave her a get, a divorce document. Now, once that takes place, Reuven is no longer allowed to marry her. He can no longer do yibum, because once he has removed her a bit, he is no longer able to marry her. Now, what happens if Shimon decides to also give a get? So in this situation, since Reuven already gave this divorce document, and if it in fact has strength and validity to remove her, so therefore Shimon's action, which is really the same thing, is giving also a get, that has no power. That actually means nothing. So what does that matter? When it comes to Reuven, once a get is given, he is no longer allowed to marry her relatives. He certainly is not allowed to marry her, as we said, but also not her relatives. However, Shimon, who really, in essence, did nothing, he is allowed to marry her relatives. And it is because this concept of ein get acher get. However, we're going to see that according to the sages, they disagree, and they feel that the fact that Shimon gave this divorce document, even though it was given after his brother, the law is that it does have some power, and because of that, he is also not allowed to marry her relatives. This, of course, is discussed at great length throughout the rest of this chapter.